Hey everyone, this is Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly with a first look at the new Motorola DROID 3 for Verizon. Now this isn't going to be a full review. I want to get a few days under my belt with the DROID 3 before I do a full review, but I do want to take a first look at it, show you that we have it, tell you that a review is coming up, and explain some of its features because it has some great features. First of all, the Motorola DROID 3 is the follow-up in the DROID line that began with the DROID and then continued with the DROID 2 and the DROID 2 Global. Like those others, it has a slide-out keyboard, but unlike those others, it has a 5-row keyboard with a dedicated row of numbers. Now, if you ask me, the row of numbers looks a little bit like they've just been tacked in there, but the fact is they are there, so you no longer have to hit the Alt button to get to a number. And personally, I think that's very cool. So you can get to the @ symbol and you can get to numbers without having to press the Alt key. Very nice. Plus there's cursor keys down here that allow you to get around the screen very nicely. So I like that very much. I love the keyboard. Looking at the phone itself, there's a lot of cool stuff on it. For instance, here you have a dedicated HDMI port, and of course this is the micro USB port. Of course, the DROID 3 looks very similar to the original DROID and the DROID 2 and the DROID 2 Global. However, there's one feature that it has that's head and shoulders above the others. The DROID 3 has a dual-core 1 GHz processor, so it makes it much faster than the earlier versions of the DROID and the DROID 2. It has also 512 megabytes of RAM. So between the fast dual-core processor and the decent size of the RAM, this is a much faster phone to use than the DROID or the DROID 2 or the DROID 2 Global. The screen is a 4-inch diagonal LCD screen with QHD resolution. That means it's 540 by 960. Now QHD stands for quarter of an HD screen. It's 1/4 of an HD screen. A full HD screen would be 1080 by 1920. So if you make 1920 divide it by 2, you get 960. If you divide 1080 by 2, you get 540. So this is 540 by 960. It's 1/4 of an HD screen. Now this is running Android 2.3. It's got all the great Android 2.3 features. I think it's Android 2.3.3. And of course it has Motorola's Moto Blur user interface. So if you want to get to Facebook, you want to keep up with your friends and so forth, you've got Moto Blur features, and you've got your Moto Blur widgets to allow you to keep on top of things. Of course, it comes with a lot of apps. It's got games, it's got productivity apps. Speaking of productivity, the DROID 3 is very closely integrated with your enterprise system. So you can do your enterprise email. In other words, you can do your work email. You can keep track of your work contacts. You can do work documents. And it has features like SD card encryption that will allow you to work with documents yet be able to keep them private in case your phone goes missing. So that's really good stuff. One other big feature about the DROID 3, just like its predecessor, the DROID 2 Global, it is a global phone. So under the back cover, and I'm going to put it to sleep here, under the back cover it has a SIM card slot. Now this is for a GSM SIM that allows you to take the DROID 3 globally. So the DROID 3 is a 3G phone. It is not a 4G phone. You cannot put an LTE SIM here. This is for a GSM SIM. Now if you are going to go global, this phone is locked to Verizon. So you have to go to Verizon and get your GSM SIM from Verizon. And Verizon will activate it for whatever countries you're going to be in. But the good news is, again, that this has GSM capability for international use, as well as Verizon's CDMA capability for domestic U.S. operations. So the DROID 3 is a global phone, and it does support having that GSM SIM. Now there's a couple of other things here about the DROID 3. It has a front-facing camera. The rear camera is 8 megapixel, and it can shoot HD video in 1080p. So pretty neat stuff. I mentioned that it has the 5-row keyboard. One other thing, when you're plugged into the HDMI port that's here on the side, you plug it into your home TV set, you can mirror whatever's on the screen on your home TV. And if you're playing back 1080p content, it will play in 1080p on your home TV. In any event, that is a first look at the new Droid 3, which is on Verizon. It's due to come out on Verizon in just a few days. I think it's coming out on July 14. This is Bob Kovacs at Wirefly. Thanks for watching.